Hey, chickadees. Welcome into today's episode of Mojo Mysticism. Today, again, we're pulling from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by my friend Colette Baron-Reed. And the cards have already come out. So they've come out because I've tried to do this video over and over and over again. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the eclipse energy. I don't know. But here we are. So we're going to try to do this again. But we have an incredible reading tonight, so it's really, really beautiful. We got the first card that came out, since I'll just get into it, is card number 2. This is Yin. Beautiful card. This is about receiving, right? That's the feminine energy. And then the second card that came out is card number 16. This is All That Glitters. So what are we going to receive? All that glitters. Abundance, right? Everything we want. Absolutely everything we need in life. And that gets us to our third card, which is card number 32. This is here and now. So this is all about just taking it as it comes, right? Allowing life to unfold in the way it's going to unfold anyway. So why rail against it? So yeah, just it's going to be a very short message tonight because the message is very, very clear. It literally is about allowing yourself to be receptive to the abundance in your life, right? And understand that there's really nothing you have to do to earn it, right? Nobody talks about earning money, do they? They talk about making money, right? And I'm not necessarily talking about abundance, financial abundance, although that is part of it for sure. But this is a broader message than just financial. This is about abundance in all forms. Right? We get to receive the abundance in all forms in our life. Abundance of love, abundance of stillness, abundance of serendipity, right? And an abundance of, financial abundance, an abundance of friendships and family abundance, all forms of abundance, an abundance of time, all forms. So you can fill in the blank of any form of abundance you want. And that's really what's applying here. So we receive the abundance. We make ourselves available through the feminine energy to receive. In fact, there's a lot of people that will do a practice that just says, hey, I am open to receive. And they'll put their arms out and everything. Like, I'm open for business. Come on in and bless me. Right? Give me the abundance. So, and, the here and now is important because so often we spend so much of our time, right, efforting for the future or to maybe make up for the past. So I've done that. I've done both. It's been a ride. It's been a thing for sure. But we spend time efforting. And we can do it out of guilt. We can do it because that was the example we saw growing up. I did it for 2 reasons. I did it because I thought it's how I got approval from my parent, one of my parents. And it also was how I kind of hid in plain sight for years and years and decades, right? But that's what for, right? What did I do that for? I don't feel guilt about it at all, right? I really don't. It is part of my makeup. I do like to work hard. It's like a hobby. But it's also not everything. And if I'm working for something, like if I'm efforting my way towards something, and here's what I mean by efforting. We probably ought to pause and talk a little bit about this because I haven't really explained, I don't think, in any kind of real detail what I mean by efforting. So what do I mean when I use the word efforting, right? And I use it like in a way that's weird, right? Because I want it to feel weird for myself when I say it. So I have always been, most people who know me now may not know how much of a highly driven human being I am. type, and I used not only, well, they probably know I'm a driven human being, but they probably don't know how strict I was in my younger years. And I mean strict. And disciplined with myself in a way that was not healthy. Right? I didn't know how to have fun. I sure as hell wouldn't be reading oracle cards on YouTube. Right? That was a complete waste of time. Didn't believe it anyway. So, right? Yeah. And so I would effort my way towards goals. Right? Towards more and more and more achievement in whatever thing I dreamed up. And I found it empty. Right? So when I use the word efforting, the way it feels in my body is like I'm pushing something. I'm pushing something harder and faster, and it's not moving faster. So I'm pushing against something and it's not moving. I am efforting, and the boulder just doesn't move, right? Or it moves slower than it should. That's efforting. For me, that's how I define it. And when we're doing that, there are many, many people who do, and there's no judgment here because, boy, was I one of them. And sometimes I still am. But I'm trying to catch myself more often. I'll just say I not always do it, but more often I want to catch myself earlier and earlier once I start efforting. And I want to remind myself that that's not what this life is about. Right? It is how we could spend our lives. There's no doubt about that in my mind. But this card reading today, that is not what this card reading is saying. It is saying you remain open to the abundance in your life because it's there and there's even more coming, and know that it's only here now. Right? So if we're spending time efforting through our life to either make up for the past or emulate something we saw that we thought we should be, right? And I mean, you just have to look in our culture today anywhere pretty much to find out that, if you're going to be successful, you have to effort your way to it. There's just hard work and that's it, right? And that's just not true. It's just not true. Or we could be efforting our way towards something in the future, right? And I'm not saying that we don't do all the responsible things like, save our money and, build a nest egg or any of that. I'm not saying we don't plan for the future. What I'm saying is we're not promised the future. So if we are working for the future and not taking advantage and not living in the day, eventually it's going to catch up with us. And that's what this message is about. See the abundance in your life. Receive it. Receiving is an action, right? It's also a state, but it's an action. I don't have to receive, right? I can't say, no, thank you. No abundance for me today. It's okay. You can keep it. You can do that. You're just going to close yourself off to more abundance. I've tried. I've done it, and it's successful. But if instead you take the action, you say, you know what, universe, I am open to receive any and all abundance that you have for me right here, right now, in this moment. Help me see it because it's already here. That's where the beauty lies. That's where the beauty lies. So it's interesting that the card on the bottom of the deck, when I say it's interesting, that means it's no surprise. But it is literally no surprise that the card that's on the bottom of the deck, which is the clarifying card, this card number 18, this card is serendipity, right? Which is how we feel if we do truly live in the here and now. where else are you going to be? Right? It's so easy for me to live in the past or live in the future and make up stories about both of them, rewrite the past and, project onto the future. It's so easy. But the secret that they're telling us is just to let it be. Let it be and see the beauty in the life that you have right here, right now. And I think that when we do that, that's when we get more of that. So, if you're somebody who efforts like I did and like I still do sometimes, you might want to ask yourself some questions. Starting with, am I efforting? Right? And if the answer is yes to am I efforting, it's like, do I have to? Why? Why am I doing that? Right? And I'm not saying that we don't, that we don't work and take action and do any effort. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when we're actually efforting, when we're wrapped up in it and our identity is wrapped up in what we're doing. Right? And it comes from a place, frankly, of fear. Right? Fear that you're going to be found out if you're not efforting. Fear that you're not going to be prepared for the future. Fear that you're not going to measure up to what craziness you may have been told in your younger years about what it means to be successful and live a good life in whatever culture you're in, frankly. So maybe we can try something different. If we can, identify that we're efforting and then just relax and say, you know what, maybe I could try not efforting for 1 minute and just breathing and just relaxing and taking in and looking for the positive things, the abundance, right? Looking for that in your life. So Abraham Hicks. Sorry, Abraham. Abraham Hicks. If you're familiar with Abraham Hicks, if you're not, you can go check them out on YouTube. But Abraham Hicks talks about making a book of positive aspects. And Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham, talks about this as well. And when you catch yourself in a state that you don't want to be in, right? So maybe there's some negative emotion, or maybe you just realized you were efforting and it was because of fear and you've identified it and it doesn't feel very good. Just sit down, get a notebook, get a piece of paper, do it on your phone, whatever, do a video recording of yourself. I do that all the time. And write out the positive aspects of your life. Write them out. And then look at them. And then, eventually what starts to happen is you end up with a whole book of positive aspects. So when you, experience an emotion that you maybe aren't really thrilled about, you can go get your book of positive aspects out and say, oh, look, this is what I have to be grateful for. Look at all the beauty and abundance in my life, right? And it could be simple, right? Beauty and abundance can look like your cat rubbing on your leg or purring, right? That's a blessing that cat's giving you. Or maybe it looks like a dog that just wants to take a walk with you. Or maybe it looks like a beautiful wind across your skin, right? It can look like so many things. Maybe it's a hug from a friend. Maybe it's a hug from a stranger. Don't judge it. Just experience it and let it come in. So maybe it's the abundance of you being able to comfort somebody because you can be present with them because you're not efforting. You can comfort them. You can make their day a little brighter. Maybe you can do that for a stranger. Maybe they can do that for you. All kinds of things. So that's the message. I thought it was going to be short. It wasn't so short. But the message is simple, right? Be open to receive all the abundance in your life, all the glitters, all of it. And know that it's only in the here and now. Everything is transitory. Everything changes. They say everything changes, but the only two things that are certain are death and taxes, right? But even those are transitory. So it's just here and it's just now. So enjoy it. Enjoy it, my friends. I love you. Have a great night, great day, whatever the case may be, whenever you're seeing this. And thank you so much for being part of our community. If you haven't hit subscribe, we really are going to concentrate on growing YouTube. So please subscribe if you want to see this see this kind of information coming through for you on your feed. And that's going to allow us to open the community up to some other fun features that YouTube has available for us. So take care. We'll see you tomorrow with more Mojo Mysticism. Mwah.